We are now starting the another chapter called simulated annealing. As of now, the methods which we have gone through for unconstrained and constrained optimization, all of these methods are developed based on certain rules. Those rules we follow in steps, and when there is any termination condition is satisfied, we terminate the algorithm. Simulated annealing is one of the optimization algorithm which is stochastic in nature, meaning that this algorithm has certain rules that are stochastic in nature, or we can say some probability is included in this process for searching an optimal solution in the design space. In this particular lecture, we will be introducing the topic. Then we will discuss Boltzmann probability distribution, which has been used in designing the simulated annealing. Thereafter, we discuss the algorithm and then example. Simulated annealing method. It resembles the cooling process of molten metal through annealing. So those who are from mechanical engineering background, so this simulated annealing, or we can only say annealing, this process we have already understood. That says that we are cooling our molten metal. When we are simulating this method, then this process is called simulated annealing. What happened that when the temperature is high, the atom in the molten metal can move freely with respect to each other. And as the temperature is reduced, the movement gets restricted and the molten metal will become solidify. So that is what we understand from annealing process. So in this annealing process, it's the process of slow cooling of molten metal. In this annealing, atoms starts to get ordered and finally form crystals having the minimum possible energy. So we remember that. See the internal energy of the internal energy of the solids after solidifying the metal. So if we are going to make it slow cooling, then these crystals will be ordered in such a way that there will be minimum energy. On the other hand, if we are performing this cooling faster, then it will create polycrystalline states, which may have higher energy state than the crystalline state. So simulated annealing simulates process of slow cooling of molten metal to achieve the minimum function value in a minimization problem. So as you can see that the internal energy or the possible energy which we talk about in annealing process, that will be used for minimizing the function. So that can be used for an optimization task. The cooling phenomena is simulated controlling a temperature like parameter introduced with the concept of the Boltzmann probability distribution. So as this process involves some stochastic behavior, so that stochastic behavior is incorporated using the Boltzmann probability distribution. So we'll see how. So according to the Boltzmann probability distribution, a system in the thermal equilibrium at a temperature T has its energy distributed probabilistically according to, say, probability is given as exponential minus E divided by KT, where K is a Boltzmann constant and T is the temperature. So if we look at this particular equation, if T is going to be high, this means that the exponential. So this particular probability will be very close to 1. So this means that the system has almost uniform probability of being at any state. But when we reduce the value of a t, then it has a smaller probability of being at the higher state. So this concept, we are going to use it. So this Boltzmann probability distribution was used by Metropolis, and he suggested a way to implement this distribution in a simulated thermodynamic system. So how we can use it? Let us say at any instant, the current point xt and the function value at that particular point, say et, is given. So at a point xt, the function value is represented as the energy et. So et is equals to the function value f at xt. The probability of the next point being at xt plus 1. So we are looking for the new point. It depends on delta E, means the change in the energy. As you can see, delta E is equals to E t plus 1 minus Et, which is calculated using the Boltzmann probability distribution. Now, so the probability E t plus 1 is equals to the minimum value that can be 1 or exponential minus delta E times of a k divided by kt. Now, as we know that this exponential term can be as small as 0. However, it can go more than 1. So since we are talking in terms of probability, so we know that, so it cannot be more than 1. So that's why we are writing minimize, and inside the bracket, whichever is the minimum value, we should take it. In this particular case, when we are having this probability for the new point, now let us look if delta E is smaller than 0. Now I'm going back. Now, as you remember that delta E is equals to Et plus 1 minus Et. And what is Et? Function value of xt. And what is Et plus 1? Function value at the new point. Now, if delta E is smaller than equals to 0, this means the new point is already good. And if we include this particular value, so this exponential will be, because this minus times of minus delta E will become positive. So this will become the exponential value of something. So the minimum value will be 1. So the probability of accepting that point is 1. And we can understand in a way that if our new point is better than the previous point, then we are going to reduce it. We are going to accept it. What if the delta E value is greater than 0, meaning the function value at xt plus 1, which is a new point, is more than the current point xt. So we are going to accept this particular point with the following things. First of all, it depends on the probability. Probability depends on the relative magnitude of delta E by t. Why? Because if you look at the equation on the top, PET plus 1 is minimum of 1 or exponential term. In the exponential term, k is constant. So we have either delta E or a t or both of them. Suppose if I take a very high value of a t, this means that if I take a larger value, this means the probability is going to be 1. So we are going to accept that point. If t is small, then probability is low for accepting the new point. And note that here the new point is worse than the current point. So here these three things will help us whether we are going to accept a new point which is worse than the current point or not. So as you can see that while accepting the bad point, we are bringing the stochastic nature here to select a bad point than the current point. Now generally simulated annealing starts with a high temperature at T so that we can initially accept whether it's a good or a bad point, everyone. But and in every iteration, we keep on reducing the high value of a temperature. So at lower temperature, that acceptance will be reduced. Let us understand the algorithm now. We have to start with the current point, say x0. we have a termination condition epsilon, and we set a temperature T which is quite high. Then we perform some number of iteration at a particular temperature T n. So as you can see, there will be a bigger loop on temperature T, and then inside this for loop, there will be another for loop kind for a small n, which is the number of iteration at a particular temperature. Now suppose we are setting T small t equals to 0. First of all, let us calculate the neighborhood points xt plus 1. So this neighborhood point, generally we do it randomly. So this random point, this random point we are creating in the neighborhood of this xt plus xt. So we are perturbing this point randomly, and then we get a new point. As we know, we have to find the function value at new point and the previous point. And in step 3, we will find the delta E value. And we set t equals to t plus 1. If this delta E value is smaller than 0, so you know that we are going to accept a new point. Else, if the delta E value is greater than 0, so we are going to create a random number, say r between 0 to 1, because this random number will help us to choose this worst point or not. In this case, we will see whether this r is smaller than exponential minus delta E by t. If it is yes, we are going to accept a point, otherwise no. Else, finally, we are going to step 2. Now suppose we have accepted the point, then we will be going into the step number 4. So here we will see whether both the points, the new and the current point, they are close to each other, which is smaller than epsilon, and also the temperature is small, we should stop it. Otherwise, we will look whether the number of iteration at a particular temperature is over. Then we reduce the temperature by some cooling phenomena. We'll see later that. Once it is done, then again we will go to the step number 2. It is only because we have to create a point randomly in the neighborhood of the current point and then perform the same steps. And finally, if nothing happened, then in that case also we go to the step number 2. Now here the temperature T, which we are starting at a high, that we are choosing randomly. So we have to choose by trial and error. And similarly, the number of iteration per at a particular temperature also that we are fixing. So these are the 2 user defined parameters which we have to fix to run this algorithm. Now let us solve a problem which is called Hammel-Blau function. Now before I start, let me just tell you one more thing. Now in step number 4, if you read this condition else if t mod n equals to 0, if suppose the t count, which is starting with a 0, if it is not equals to number of iteration, this means that we are going to the step 2. So as you can see that there is a one loop for a capital T, and there is another loop for the iteration counter T, which we are doing at a particular temperature T. So that's why there are 2 for loops that we can understand from the algorithm. So let us begin with the Hammel-Blau function here. We are starting a point, say x is 0 here, and the termination condition. For a given problem, let us assume that t equals to 405, which is a high value for this particular function. Number of iterations we are taking, say 10 at a particular temperature. But since we cannot perform hand calculation, so we are considering say n equals to 1. And we set it t equals to 0. But when we perform simulations, we generally keep this small number of n little high. So let us create the neighborhood point of xt plus 1. So this is created randomly. For creating a random point, let us we can use the Gaussian distribution. So again, you can see the probability distribution is used here. So we are bringing some stochastic behavior here. And let the current point is the mean. And we have suppose the variance 3 sigma. So we are deciding variance of a 3 sigma, and currently the current point will become the mean. Let us take x1 and x2 between 0 to 5. What we can do is we can find what is the standard deviation, because for Gaussian distribution, we have to pass the value of a mean and the sigma. By passing this, we can get a delta x1 and a delta x2 value. These delta x1 and delta x2 value, if we add into x0 value, we are going to get a new point. So as you can see, 2.5 plus delta x1, so 2.537. Another point which is x2, 2.5 plus delta x2, which is minus 0.086. So we'll get this new point as x1 here. We calculate the function value at x2 as well as at x0. Now in step 3, we remember that we have to find the delta E value. Since it is smaller than 0, which is currently minus 1.643, so the delta E is smaller than 0. So anyway, we are going to accept a new point because it is better than the current point. And then we directly go to the step number 4. That is, we have to check the termination condition. First of all, first is we have to check whether these 2 points are close enough, which is not, so we do not terminate. Second is we have to see whether the required number of iteration at a particular temperature is done. So you remember that although we said n equals to 10, but we are taking n equals to 1 for this hand calculation so that we can perform one more iteration. So since n equals to 1, we will reduce the temperature by some cooling schedule. So let us assume that we have C equals to 0.5, which is a reduction factor, and capital T will be reduced by C value. So 0.5 into the temperature, this is 0.5 into 405 gives me 202.5. So this is the way we have reduced the temperature. And now we are going to move to the step number 2. Here we, as I have mentioned, that although we have taken n equals to 1 in the current hand calculation, but when we run our simulation, we generally keep the value of n from 20 to 100. By this point, our first iteration is over. So now we are going to create a neighborhood point at x1. So we remember that we are going to use Gaussian distribution with a mean 0. So here there is a small thing that this delta x1 and delta x2 in the previous slides as well, we are considering this mean as a 0 and sigma we already calculated earlier. By using that, we are getting delta x1 and a delta x2, and this particular value we are going to subtract with x1, and this is also subtracted. Now here you will get a x2 is 2.072 and 0.604. We calculate the function value, which is 58.067. Now, as we remember, in step 3, we are going to calculate the energy as a delta E, and this is currently 51.585, which is greater than 0. Since it is greater than 0, we are going to use Metropolis algorithm to decide whether we are going to accept this point or not. So in this case, let us generate a random number, say R, which is 0.649. Then we are going to find a probability that exponential minus delta E by T. If we do so, we are going to get 0.775. So here you note that this particular minus 51.585 divided by 202.5, this is under the exponential form. So this is a typo mistake here, just make a correction. Now here we generated a random number 0.649. Since this R is smaller than 0.775, this means we should accept this point according to the simulated annealing algorithm. And then we set T equals to 2 and we proceed to step number 4. Now here again we check the termination condition, and then in that case these 2 points are little far, so we do not terminate. Similarly, n equals to 1 and we have iteration, and then at that particular temperature T, we will be reducing the temperature C equals to 0.5. So the T new will become 0.5 multiplied by 202.5. That gives me 101.25. And then we again move to the step 2. And that makes our second iteration over. Now, what we will do is, if suppose we run it for further iterations, So after 4 iterations, temperature will reduce, say to 25.313. The new point which we get x4 is 1.397 and 1.729. By performing the neighborhood, the perturbation, we get a x5 as it is mentioned here. If we calculate the function value, find the delta E value, which is 16.031, which is again a positive value. Then we are going to find the exponential of delta E by t. This is coming out to be 0.531. Let the random number is 0.793. Since R is greater than 0.53, this means we are not going to accept this point. So what we can see in the previous iteration or a slide that since the temperature was high, so the overall probability of accepting of the point was high, which was close to 1 or 0.9. And as and when this temperature is reducing, so currently it is 25.313, accepting a point will reduce. So the probability of accepting the point will reduce. So the observation is in early stages, any point is equally likely to be accepted. So there is a less chance of premature convergence. So what we can understand is when we are going to solve a nonlinear problem where we can expect many local optimas. So this simulated annealing in which the single solution may try to converge to one solution, which may be local optima. And because of this selection based on the Boltzmann probability, so the worst point may be selected. That will help us to this will help the algorithm not to stuck to the local optima. So it will again searching for the another optima. So there is a less chances for a premature convergence. But as with the iteration, the temperature will be reducing. So at a small temperature, only small changes are allowed. So this is what we have understood with the simulated annealing. I'm just putting a question to you. Just think about it. Currently, we have solved a Hamel-Blau function, which has the value of x1 and x2 lying between 0 to 5. What if we are solving a problem which has constraints, equality and inequality constraint? How this simulated annealing is going to handle that particular problem. So if you can think and tell what could be one of the ways to handle it, that we are going to discuss in our interactive session. So this is a short algorithm. So we are finishing this particular chapter on simulated annealing.